Well, today was kind of a trying day. Um, with the broken spoke, it's no big deal, but I tried truing it up. Well, I did true it up as best I could, but the wheel was also kind of out of whack in another part of the wheel. So I thought about fixing it, but and I kind of tweaked it a little bit, but then you know, didn't. I didn't want to exacerbate the problem, so I stopped and I didn't really true it up. But I was kind of worried about my wheel's integrity, starting off the morning. Plus, I had just haven't been sleeping well the whole trip. I think, I've got a monitor and it basically has been telling me I've only been getting about 2 hours of actual sleep a night. So, just kind of feeling a bit beaten down in the morning. I got going, and then the road I took, or the highway, or whatever you want to call it, had a very small shoulder, which, while not ideal, wouldn't necessarily be a big deal, except that it was covered in rumble strip, except for a very, very thin part of it, which again could probably have been ridden, but with the wheel wobbling, it's hard to maintain a really good straight line. So, and there were a bunch of logging trucks going to and from the direction I was going. So that made things a little more difficult, especially when the shoulder disappeared. And and it was a one lane each way, and so there's really they can't really get over sometimes, which means I basically have to get off the road, lean over to the side, and wait for them to pass, and then get back going again. So it's kind of this constant go stop, go stop, go stop, go stop, which takes a lot of time. So, did get chased by dogs twice. One was on a leash, or not a leash, but on a chain. And what was kind of funny is it ran after me, and then the chain pulled taut, and it did a cartwheel ass over head. Well, I know it may not be the most correct thing to say, but I found that kind of funny. And also glad that it was on a chain. However, towards the end of the day, two dogs chased after me, and they were not on chains. And luckily at that point it was pretty flat, and I was rolling pretty good. But then one started to catch up, so I put a little bit more gas into my pedaling, and eventually it gave up. But I thought I was going to have to do something about it. So. And then I was about 12 miles from the end of the route, and basically the whole day there was this kind of rhythmic kicking, where the wheel was out of true, and it was just this constant bap 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 on the rear of your bike. So it's as if someone was kicking the bike, in a rhythmic fashion. So, when you're going fast, it kind of smooths out a bit, but it's still there. Slow, when you're going slow, it's really, really noticeable. And as I got, the day got on, it felt like it was getting worse. And so eventually I did decide to stop and check it out. And a lot of my spokes had like no tension in them. So I ended up, truing. Well, basically tightening them up and kind of doing a bit of truing. Well, what I don't know if it's really true, but basically just tightening up the spokes and trying to make it as straight as possible so I could finish up the day. So yeah, my fear in the morning of my wheel flying apart, maybe wasn't so much an emotional fear, but actually a proper logical fear. Because it did indeed start to fly apart. So I'm going to get it 60 mile. I'm going to Baton Rouge. I wasn't planning to. I mean, originally I wasn't planning to stop in Baton Rouge, but I'm gonna have to make sure the wheel's all trued up and solid. And then so I'm splitting tomorrow's route into 2 parts. But I'm gonna spend tonight, kind of doing what I was, try to do last night, but because at this point it doesn't matter if I screw it up or not. It can't get any more screwed up than it already is. I can only make it better. Since I have built one wheel almost to completion, I did put in all the spokes, do the dishing, got it almost there. But the shop I was at, it was a community shop. Ran out of time there, so I took it to my local bike shop and they finished it up for me. Anyway, hopefully this will be the last of my troubles until I go on my next adventure. Hopefully it's the last for this particular ride.